Guys, welcome back to Little Helpful Files. My name is Lindsay and we do cash budgeting, mini savings, and just life in general, all through the glory and by the grace of God. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I got started on this. This was actually a comment that one of you left, and I want to expound upon this a little more for those of you that are trying to figure out your side hustle or trying to really hear from the Lord and understand what He is doing in your life and what He wants you to be focusing on. So let's unpack this a little bit more. The Lord kind of took me through this journey as I was becoming a believer and following Jesus. I was also losing my business at that time. You know, that was everything that I had known, everything that I thought that I wanted, and it's what I went to school for. It was kind of the goal, right? And that was totally crumbling because of COVID. And so I was finding myself in this place of like, what am I going to do? I'm never going to work again. I felt absolutely helpless. And I was like, okay, well, you know, God has kind of shown me and guided me into homeschooling. So I'm just going to homeschool and stay at home, and that's it. However, God had other plans, other things in mind. And as I was praying and seeking Him, literally that month of having to file the paperwork of my business being officially closed, I was heartbroken. I had always had this idea of doing something that would have some type of printable. And let me tell you, I had so many different versions and ideas of what this was going to be, what this was going to look like. But it was when I was operating out of, you know, my own ideas and understanding and strength. But as I began to submit those to the Lord and pray to God and ask for Him to show me what was next, it became clear to me through different dreams and just different things that I started hearing or seeing. A lot of the times that's what it is, you know, the repetition of videos that pop up, people that come and speak to me and speak into the situation. And then again, like I said, you know, I have certain dreams. So that is how Little Helpful Files started to kind of pull together. So I already had the idea of doing something with printables. I already knew that I wanted to help people. That's always my goal. That is what I felt that I was doing when I had the store and the boutique. But, you know, I wanted something that would encourage women. And so the Lord continued to reveal this little by little, truly, which is one of the things that I love saying, because that's one of the things that's important with our finances. It's always small steps. And you know, I also had a YouTube channel already. I had been trying to do YouTube with Beauty Counter and it wasn't working. And I feel that as you are searching, as you are trying to figure out what God wants you to be doing, what your side hustle is, what this next step is, first off, pray and seek the Lord. And then get in your Bible and read the Word, because of course that's going to give you the discernment. It's going to allow you to hear God's voice and His wisdom. Really, truly just start to be still and let the Lord reveal these things to you. There are so many times when people would come and speak different topics, and it's so crazy because I'd be like, interesting, you know, I was just wondering about that, or I was trying to figure that out, and now this person is kind of giving me guidance and clarity on it. You know, those are moments where the Lord is working. He's moving, He's showing you, He's putting the pieces together. And so you have to trust that He's going to do that. And then you also have to think about what, you know, skills do you have? What knowledge do you have? What is your passion? And so as God was pulling together Little Helpful Files, and I started doing it with no real understanding of the bigger picture here. You know, I knew that I wanted to have my faith be a part of it, but I never knew what that was going to look like. But God did, and that's where you have to understand. He's going to use things in your past and experiences that you've had to set you up for the future purpose that He's calling you into. I really encourage you that whatever you are doing, trust the Lord and know that He's going to use things in your past, but also know that He wants you to acknowledge Him and give Him glory. You know, we're not doing these things of our own accord. And so as we seek this, and as we're looking for side hustles and business opportunities, you know, I just pray that you keep Him at the center of it, and He will bless that. Because he's calling you into this purpose, right? As you heed to Him, as you allow Him to move and to show you and to pave the way. And you have to understand that like everybody has different gifts, the spiritual gifts. Everybody has different skills and things that they're good at. And so you cannot ever look at or compare, of course. We've talked about this, but what works for somebody else is not necessarily going to work for you, and it may not be what God is calling you to do. And so that's another thing that you have got to think about. And I would say that whatever you are going to be walking into, just be prepared that your past things are going to be beneficial. That was something that was like so eye-opening, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm never going to have another boutique. How in the world could any of this stuff really help me in what I'm going to be doing with Little Helpful Files? But I learned so much with just like content creation, with social media, with knowing how to do like graphic design type things. These were all things that I was doing within my boutique, not realizing how this was then going to play into a future opportunity with the Lord. And so with Little Helpful Files, the biggest thing for me was that I wanted to be very transparent that I was a follower of Jesus, and that this was something that was going to incorporate faith into. And I will say that even when I started Little Helpful Files, I really wasn't leaning into that as much, because of course, you kind of start doing this and you are trying to figure out how you want it to look, what you want it to be like. And there was a little bit of me kind of playing it safe, I would say. The more that I prayed and sought the Lord on it, the more that I realized and understood, like, He wanted me to be bold. He wanted me to proclaim and to encourage women in their finances, in their budgeting, in their home, but to do it unto the Lord first, that we are to seek God first, that He is to be the first person that we go to, the first one that we consult, and that is guiding us and comforting us through it. That is what allowed us to get out of debt. That is what allowed us to get a hold of our finances and to be in a much more secure position with it. Now, I just want to be fully transparent, guys. I do not do Little Helpful Files to make money. I've told you guys this before. I do not make a lot of money, even with all the commissions and all the different avenues combined. It's really not much. Like, it's not the purpose for this. I am doing this because I want to help people. I want to encourage you guys to put the Lord first and foremost in your life. I want to encourage you to not idolize the money when you're budgeting and when you're focused on that, because that could be very dangerous. I want to encourage you to know that your purpose, if you are a stay-at-home mom and you're homeschooling, that is doing kingdom work right there. God has called you into that. If you're out and you're working, whatever it is, that is doing kingdom work. You can go out and speak to others and share your testimony and your faith. Like, God has us in different places for a purpose and for a reason. So that's my encouragement, my tip to you is, don't look at what everybody else is doing. And also, don't let it discourage you when you see other people doing things. We want them to succeed. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to find their purpose in the Lord's will and plans in their life. That would be amazing, right? That's what we want to see happening. But we also have to be careful, because we don't want to look at other people and then try to mimic that or copy that or emulate that. We need to be authentic. That's really what it boils down to. God wants you to be who He created you to be, in His perfect plan, in His perfect purpose. And when you surrender to Him, and when you seek Him, and when you allow Him to work in your life, it is beautiful what He is able to do. I continue to struggle sometimes with Little Helpful Files, and if I am to continue. And I'll just share another story real quick. I had a few different people that had kind of spoken and commented and given some great encouragement. And then I had a moment where I had one of the largest orders that I've ever had, which I was extremely grateful for. And I let the woman know that I was so thankful for her order, because I was really doubting, if this was where I was supposed to be putting my focus still. And she let me know that she was actually struggling in her budget and realized that she needed to be putting God first. And so we were both a blessing to each other. Like, she was so grateful to find Little Helpful Files, and I was so grateful to have her support. And that's what God does. Like, He just reassures us, He reminds us, He helps us and points us in the direction, in the way to go. And those are the things that I've noticed, through the way that people have spoken in different videos or face-to-face or commented. I mean, that's how God is able to speak to us. He's able to give us these reminders through one another, and it's so beautiful, and I love it. And don't worry, Little Helpful Files is not going anywhere. I'm going to continue on. You know, it's just sometimes hard to juggle. I mean, I have 3 children now. I'm doing the homeschool thing and trying to keep the homestead functioning, and my husband has a lot that he's juggling too, and of course we're going out and wanting to love on people and our family and all of that. But everything is possible when we seek the Lord. If we seek Jesus first, it is so much more manageable. So I pray this gives you some more clarity, guidance, and tools for how to actually find your side hustle, how to really step into God's purpose on your life. If you have questions, feel free to send me an email. I'd love to chat more about it, or leave a comment below. But I thank you guys for listening and tuning in, and I'll see you all in a video soon. May God bless you and shine his face upon you.